I'm giving you guys the top 5 best loadouts in Warzone 3 Season 2 Reloaded. These are going to be the only loadouts you need, especially after all the buffs and nerfs. Everything I'm going to give you guys is going to be absolutely meta. And I have to start you guys out with the Holger 556 because they buffed this thing like crazy and now it is officially meta. Start out with the VT7 Spirit Fire Suppressor for being undetectable by the radar, recoil control, bullet velocity, and damage range. You do lose some aim down sight speed, aim walking steadiness, and sprint to fire speed, but that's not a big deal. Next, put on the Cheerios 6 Match for bullet velocity and range, recoil control, and gun kick control at the cost of aim down sight speed, aiming out of sway, and sprint to fire speed. The Brune Heavy Support Grip is a good choice. I do have an alternative if you guys don't like this one, but I'm going to tell you guys it helps with gun kick control, aiming out of sway, horizontal recoil, and firing aim stability. You lose a little bit of vertical recoil and aim down sight speed, but it just does not matter. 40 round mag, because unfortunately this is all you can put on there. If you put 60 or something, I definitely would. And last but not least, the Coral Eagle's Eye 2.5 times. This gun is absolutely busted, and I'm not going to be surprised to see my lobbies filled with Holger 556s very soon, just because of how powerful and dominant this is. This is definitely going to be the mid to long range meta, and if you're not using this class setup, you're definitely going to fall behind. But I do have one more to actually show you, but here's the entire class setup right now. I am going to take off the Brune Heavy Support Grip just to show you guys one more alternative. So you take off the underbarrel, you go to the stock, and what you can put on is the RB Adult Assault stock. I don't really think there's really any better choices. Like, you could put on the Holder 26 factory stock, but I just don't think it's worth it. Put on the RB Adult Assault stock, equip that, and then when you go into the firing range, I think this feels really good too. Like, it has a very similar recoil pattern. Some could say it's a little bit more controlled than the previous one and has a little bit less cons. So if you guys want to run this instead, feel free. And if you guys want even less recoil, I guess you can take off the VT7 Spirit Fire Suppressor. Remember that this does help with effective damage, minimum, and bullet velocity by a little bit. But if you guys don't really care for that little bit of boost, what you can do is you can move all the way over here, and you can either put on the Cassis Brake, which will help the horizontal recoil by 18%, or what you can do is you can actually put on the L4R Flash Hider, which will help horizontal, vertical, and recoil gun kick control by 13%. So for this example, we're going to throw on the L4R Flash Hider just because I think that's actually pretty useful. Go into the firing range, and look at this. This thing is absolutely amazing. Whatever you choose to do with it is completely your choice, but there's a multitude of options just if you guys want this. HRM9, because this thing is taking over in both casual and competitive play. First thing you're going to want to throw on is the Zemin 35 Compensated Flash Hider. Now, this shortens the radar pings, which is actually fantastic. But the next thing is it helps with the vertical recoil, horizontal recoil, and firing aim stability. Now, you do get a reduction of bullet velocity and aim down sight speed, which you notice is a 5% reduction, but I don't really think that's big of a deal. Now, if you can't handle the Zemin 35 Compensated and you don't want to deal with that, we do have an alternative. It's the L4R Flash Hider. L4R Flash Hider, all you do is get a reduction of aim down sight speed, but it has the same benefits. Now, you don't get the vertical recoil boost that you would get in the previous one, but look at this. It also helps with the 13% on recoil, horizontal, and vertical. It's just not specifically vertical. In fact, the previous one helps with vertical a negative 15% versus this helps 13%. So you weigh your options, whichever one you want, you can use. Next, throw in the Thorn 90 barrel for hip fire attack stand spread, aim down sight speed, sprint to fire speed, and sprint speed. You do lose recoil control and aiming out of sway, but it's not a big deal, and I don't think you're going to even notice. Next, put on the DR6 hand stop for aim walking speed, aim down sight speed, sprint to fire speed, and movement speed. Once again, you get a reduction of hip fire attack stand spread and aim walking steadiness, but it's not a big deal. Put on the 50 round drum because there's really no better alternative. I think this is the best possible choice. And the last attachment is the folding stock. This helps with recoil control, gun kick control, and firing aim stability at the cost of aim down sight speed, which is not a big deal for this gun. This gun is ridiculously easy to use at honestly all ranges. I would say even at long range it does a good job. I just wanted to reload all the way so I could actually show you guys. This thing actually does a fantastic job at long range. Just make sure you actually choose your gunfights wisely. I would recommend staying at the short to medium range with this gun. And to show you guys the entire class setup, here's the HRM9 right here. And real quick, I want you guys to comment what your favorite gun is in Warzone 3 or Modern Warfare 3 for some COD points. Next, we're moving on to the best long-range weapon in my opinion. Now, there is another one I'm going to show you guys in this video, but the MTZ-762 is absolutely busted, and I wanted to give you guys this class because it has no recoil. Throw on the Cassis Brake L for horizontal recoil, firing aim stability at the cost of aim down sight speed. Now, this is not a big deal. Now, if you guys want to stay off the map and you guys want to have a silencer, then what I would recommend is the VT7 Spirit Fire Suppressor L. This is undetectable by radar, recoil control, bullet velocity, and damage range at the cost of aim down sight speed, aim walking steadiness, and sprint to fire speed. No matter what, make sure you put on the MTZ Precision Blackthorn Barrel. This helps with bullet velocity and range, aiming out of sway, and firing aim stability. Now, you do lose some hip fire and attack stand spread and aim walking speed. I see some people out there actually using the MTZ Clinch Pro Barrel if you want some more recoil control and gun kick control, but with the initial build, I just don't think it needs any more. Throwing the broom pivot vertical grip for gun kick control, vertical recoil, aiming out of sway and firing aim stability at the cost of horizontal recoil, aim down sight speed, and sprint to fire speed. The reason I chose this over, say, the broom heavy support grip is because this is specifically for vertical recoil. This gun kicks vertically, so you gotta make sure you have something to balance that out. 30 round mag because there's just no alternative. If you could have 40, trust me, I would throw it on there, but since we can only have 30, this is what you want to put on there. And last but not least, the coil eagle's eye 2.5 times. I see people using the iron sights more recently, but this is what I like to use. So if you guys want to use the iron sights, feel free and just throw in another attachment. The attachment will most likely be the EXF close quarters assault stock for recoil control and gun kick control, just to make it even more of a laser. But just show you guys how easy it is to actually use this weapon. Check this thing out. It's just absolutely busted. It has zero recoil at basically all ranges. Like, it does bounce a little bit, but it's like so controllable that it's not even really a noticeable bounce. Like, see, even at long range, it's just super easy to control. So this is, in my opinion, the best long range weapon. Please make this class. If you need to take a picture or whatever, feel free. But this thing is absolutely amazing. It's busted. I haven't really used the conversion kit. I see some people actually using it, but it's just not my cup of tea. So if you guys want to use it, feel free. But this is what I highly recommend. Next is the Wasp 9. Now, I actually think this is another overall best SMG in the game. It actually is dangerous at all ranges, where the HRM is really good at close and medium range. This is insane at every single range, but it's a bit slower. On the Zemin 35 compensated flash hider for shorter radar pings, vertical recoil, horizontal recoil, and firing aim stability. You do lose some bullet velocity and aim down sight speed, but this thing has an insane amount of bullet velocity. Next, throw on the DR6 hand stop for aim walking speed, aim down sight speed, sprint to fire speed, and movement speed at the cost of hip fire and attack stance spread, and aim walking steadiness. Throw on the 9mm high grain rounds for bullet velocity and damage range at the cost of recoil control. Now, the reason I threw this on there is because initially I had something else on there, but I realized that this is more beneficial. Now, check this out. It helps with bullet velocity, effective damage range, and minimum damage range by 15%. What I was initially using was a Wasp Reckless 90 long barrel, and you see it only helps by 12%, 12%, and 6%. I just don't think the trade-off is worth it. Next is a 40 round mag. If you want to use 50, it's completely up to you, but I just think the cons end up getting a little too high. I think if you look at these two, I mean, you have to weigh your options. Do you really want this much of a trade-off? And if you're okay with it, feel free, but I like the 40. I think it's the best possible choice. And the last attachment is my personal preference, the Niter Model 2023. This thing is super busted and super easy to use. In my opinion, it is actually one of the best SMGs in the game. I want to show you guys, like, even at long range, if you can get your shots on point, it's absolutely lethal. Now, I would recommend keeping it to short to medium range just because with an SMG, it is ideal to keep the gunfights at short to medium range. But you see, you actually can hit your shots and take someone out at long range if you really try. So here's the entire class right here. Please take a picture, take a screenshot, whatever you guys need to do, or if you guys just want to copy the class right now. The Wasp 9 is absolutely amazing, and I'll say that it actually is the best SMG, but the HRM9 lovers will most likely fight me for that. The Ram 7 is an absolutely amazing assault rifle. I would say it's the best assault rifle in the game. You know, the MTZ 762 is technically a battle rifle. This would be the best assault rifle in the game. Go on the Castus brake for horizontal recoil and firing aim stability at the cost of aim down sight speed. Trust me, there's no better alternative. Not at all. This is the best choice. Next, throw on the Cronin Headwind long barrel for bullet velocity and range, aiming out of sway and firing aim stability at the cost of hip fire and attack stance spread, aim walking speed, and sprint to fire speed. Trust me, this is the best possible choice. You want as much bullet velocity and range as possible for this build. Next, throw on the Brune Heavy support grip for gun kick control, aiming out of sway, horizontal recoil, and firing aim stability at the cost of aim down sight speed and vertical recoil. Now, I went through every single one of these, and this is the best possible choice, especially for this gun. Next, throw on the 60 round drum. You just don't really want to run anything else. I think this is the best possible choice. And the last attachment is the HVS 3.4 pad for gun kick control, recoil control at the cost of sprint to fire speed, sprint speed, and movement speed. Now check this out. This thing literally has zero recoil. It's actually kind of scary. Like, it does not move. I genuinely am so shocked that they made this gun as good as it is. It does have a tiny bit of recoil, but when I say no recoil, you can literally hold your thumbstick down just a little bit and it counteracts the entire thing of recoil. That's why I say this thing has no recoil, because it's super easy to control, and in my opinion, just makes it one of the best guns in the game. So here's the entire class setup right here. Please, if you guys don't take any other class setup, please copy this class setup down, because this class setup right here is absolutely broken. You'll do great in any game mode. From solos to quads, you'll just absolutely